Tonight, the flood crisis hits our state. Homes lost, lives ruined. Terror on the front line. Rescuers battle to get every person to safety. Water peaks in Brisbane. Now there are fears for the city's water supply. And Sydney blasted by the rain and powerful seas.
This is 9 News with Peter Overton.
Good evening. Scores of homes are underwater in the state's north tonight as the flood crisis continues its relentless push into New South Wales. In a day of high drama, dozens were rescued from rooftops, while in Grafton, thousands were evacuated as the city experienced flooding on an unprecedented scale. Our reporters are covering this emergency from the border, north to Queensland and south to Sydney. Tom Steinfort begins our coverage.
The Clarence River has become an ocean, swallowing towns whole as it bursts its banks and breaks all records. At Harwood, homes, the pub, pretty much everything is submerged. Further upstream, Ulmarra went under, but the biggest concerns were at Grafton. How long since you've had it up this high?
Never.
Never?
Never.
Never seen it this high before?
No.
Harold Biffin's property couldn't be saved by sandbags, one of a number of houses to go under here, the floodwaters knee-deep in his living room.
Just got to take it as it comes, I guess, hopefully. Hope and pray they're soon going to recede. And
The South Grafton Bowls Club could have been mistaken for the local swimming pool.
No, mate, I've never seen it like this before. No, I moved here in 1974 and there was a big flood, but not as big as this one.
The Clarence River was raging, and the water markers spelled out that this was a 1 in 100-year flood.
What we're dealing with here is a flood of record. There has never been a flood of this height in recorded history of Grafton.
By mid-morning, an urgent evacuation order was made to thousands of locals. Grafton's never experienced gridlock before, but have a look at this. The line of traffic extends for about a kilometre from here. As soon as that evacuation order came through, thousands of people decided it was time to get out of town and head for higher ground.
The swag, little dog, she can't stay behind on her own, and plenty of dry food and stuff. So.
Getting out of town?
Yes, we are. Yes, we have to.
All eyes were on the town's levee. Cracks appeared and leaks broke out. Rescue crews had another focus though. Reports 3 people were seen struggling in the fast-moving river currents. That search was called off, but it was just one of many. Late today, Premier Barry O'Farrell toured Grafton, assessing the damage from the air.
As you can see, you can't even see the highway. It's more than doubled in size, hasn't it? Oh, most certainly.
But most importantly, officially declaring it a disaster zone.
As we stand here, 41,000 people, mainly in this region, are isolated.
Tom Steinfort's in Grafton tonight. Tom, good evening. A frantic day there. What do the next 24 hours hold?
Well, look, Pete, everyone here wants to see these floodwaters recede, but it's not really happening all that quickly. The water's peaked at 8.1 metres here at midday. You can see from this marker down here, though, it's only down to 7.8 metres about 6 hours later, so not going anywhere quickly. And it's probably also worth noting there that that marker didn't even go up to 8 metres. They never expected the water to get that high here. It caught so many people by surprise today. In the end, thousands evacuated at the very, very last minute. Of those that stayed, the SES ended up having to rescue 50 different people from various locations around here. For the SES tomorrow, though, the concern goes to some of the isolated communities further downstream from here. They haven't even been able to get into some of those spots. So, as we say, this is a day of record-breaking floods up here, but it probably will be several further days before we can fully assess just how serious the damage is.
Tom, thank you for that. 4 people are now known to have died in the Queensland floods. Bundaberg is at the centre of the crisis. There are mass evacuations and the flooding is at the highest level on record.
The ordeal is obvious at first glance, etched on their pallid faces. The second wave of evacuees delivered from the slush of North Bundaberg. There was a real urgency clearing the choppers. This toddler needed immediate medical help. The worry of a sick child and being stranded added to his mother's anxiety. Some of the community's most vulnerable had all spent the night sleeping rough. Now they were under duress, baking in 35-degree heat and steaming humidity.
We treat it like it's something, a new experience in our life, and we're old enough to know, you get over it.
They'd left behind almost everything, taking whatever they could clutch, and if they were lucky, a walking frame. Many were retirees and patients from nursing homes. They landed straight into waiting helpful arms. 19-year-old lifesaver Raquel didn't speak to Alastair, but they held hands like dear friends.
It's the best feeling. It's the only way to explain it.
Did he say anything to you?
Just grabbed my hand.
No school today for this teacher. Instead, he took a lesson in community service.
They're a bit emotional and they're not feeling too well. And I think they're happy, though, that there's someone looking after them.
And young German backpackers also pitched in to help.
Nobody was really prepared for it. So I think everybody is really helpful and everybody's trying to do something and help other people.
The Pearson family left their home as floodwater surged up their street at 70 kilometres an hour. They didn't look back, don't know what's left.
Just flying across it was shocking. Water everywhere.
The Premier was blunt. Bundaberg has been hammered.
I've seen the city from the air and I've seen perhaps even more extraordinary sights than we saw 2 years ago in southeast Queensland.
Almost 8,000 people have had to flee their homes. This is the worst flood in the city's history. 130 patients from Bundaberg Base Hospital have been evacuated, most to Brisbane. The wards emptied, reformed in a sweltering aircraft hangar.
Patients are the reason why we're here today. This is quite disturbing and unsettling for patients, and we're doing our utmost to make sure they're comfortable.
The Air Force called on to relocate a fragile but good-humoured cargo.
Some of them see it as an adventure. Some of them are like, oh, look, I've been stuck in hospital and it's great to see the sunshine.
Each Hercules packed with rows of stretchers for the 30-minute flight. Patients will be shared across hospitals throughout the southeast, but it could be a week before they return. Bundaberg's emergency ward is still open, but the cardiac recovery unit, breast cancer ward and doctors' accommodation are all waterlogged.
It is really significant. I mean, people talk about the floods back in 2011. We're at least 2 metres above that.
While it's easy to see the damage the water is creating to clinical buildings above the ground, it's what you can't see going on underneath the surface that is causing real problems. For the first time in 100 years since the hospital was built, water has spilled into the cellar, and it holds vital medical records. The power of the water brings out a terrible fascination.
Oh, it is amazing. We've lived here all our lives and never seen anything this big. We just thought we'd come and have a look and then go and see if there's something we can do to help somebody else.
Let's go to Darren now in Bundaberg. Darren, what's the situation there tonight?
Well, Peter, tonight rescue helicopters are still finding people around their homes that are signalling them, wanting them to be evacuated and picked up. Now, they believe that most of them are elderly people. They weren't able to get up onto their rooftops and get out of the water and signal and do it earlier yesterday, but they're now getting out onto their front lawns and balconies. They don't trust that this peak is going to stop. They're now concerned for their own safety and saying we need to get out of here as quick as we can. They estimate there's more than 2,000 homes that have now been water damaged just in this town. And amongst all of those people that have lost their properties, it's a long road of recovery. But those that have lost their homes, they're still getting on with life. They're still saying they want to chip in and give a special hand. Chloe Begelli has this special report on those very special people.
Simon Jackson's home is underwater, but he spent the last 2 days visiting and supporting the stranded.
We've got Horseland, Kmart, Coles, Woolworths is down here somewhere. It will be underwater again.
His home, in ironically named Water Street, will need to be knocked down.
It's all under, all gone, again.
At the end of the street, Jill Hall's place. She spent her entire life savings when it flooded 2 years ago. Now uninsured, all she has is memories.
I lost my mum in June, so her photos are in there. And her wedding ring and her engagement ring. I've got to get them out.
The main streets of Bundaberg are now rivers, shopping centres swallowed, livelihoods lost. This is the Melbourne Hotel, which at this time of year would normally be full of people. It's completely inundated. In fact, the water is so high we've even had to dodge power lines. For those stuck here, an uncomfortable wait.
Oh, we're sort of surviving. We've got a little cooker a friend let my friend, so at least we'll be able to cook up a little bit of stuff.
Some are just trying to stay positive.
It's absolutely beautiful. For the first time in 11 years, it's quiet.
With reports of looting, the stranded don't want to risk leaving now.
I'm staying put with my place until the roof's under. You need snorkelling gear to come and break into it.
And in a town famous for its spirit, they've got each other's shoulders to lean on.
It's really bad for us. We can't do anything about it, but there's other people we can help.
In Bundaberg, Chloe Begelli, 9 News.